Hey, this is Sky. Welcome back to my studio here in San Francisco. I'm the Geeks Geek, the CTO of the Traveling Geeks. We've just completed our tour of Paris and Le Web, December 2009. It was really interesting this time around to see how things had changed for bloggers. I shouldn't even say bloggers in this case, because in London and Cambridge last summer, 2009, we had primarily bloggers. And what happened this time was a number of those bloggers had migrated from the blog as their medium of expression to much more of a Twitter-centric model. Robert Scoble is a good example of that. Robert tweeted many times during the web, and those had to be picked up and then repurposed so that we could use them within travelinggeeks.com. We had a couple of our traveling geeks this time who were primarily photographers. Olivier and Rodrigo both were taking just beautiful photographs during our meetings, and Olivier even time shifted all of his work. So his blog, Opinion Libre, is written in French, and he consented to write several posts in English for traveling geeks. And he time shifted those so that he had time to reflect and do a really good job of writing about them, which I think is quite typical for very good bloggers. And Rodrigo actually put photos up and essentially did a photo essay rather than blogging. And I found that very interesting. His photos are just spellbinding. You definitely need to take a look at those. And those appear in the Flickr photo stream for Traveling Geeks. So what's happened, I think, in 6 months is we've gone from bloggers having their own blog or blogging centrally somewhere to bloggers being all over the place. Bloggers are much more syndicated now than they were 6 months ago. And I found we had to use tools like Yahoo Pipes, which I personally really enjoy using, to pull together a number of feeds. And you can pull a Twitter feed or Picasa feed, as well as you can pull a feed from a blog. So we would pull those feeds together, filter them, looking for the content that was appropriate for traveling geeks, and particularly looking for hashtags. And then we would integrate those into a single output feed. That output feed would go into travelinggeeks.com, and we would get our posts. It was much more difficult to do that, particularly because some of the blogs are of different types, have different formats, and the feeds are different. So it was a real challenge this time. As the Geeks Geek, my responsibility is really to make sure that infrastructure is working for the geeks. So that ranges from what I just discussed, which is how we take the feeds from their blogs, to making sure we have on-the-ground connectivity. In both London and Paris, we had connectivity provided by a local system operator, and that connectivity was a single device, a modem, which fits in the USB port, which is capable of doing 3G when it has nothing else available, so it can go cellular, or it can use Wi-Fi when there's Wi-Fi available. So those technologies provide you with a wide range of connection speeds. You can get 1 or 2 megabits per second, or you can be way down in the 8K range. Keeping those going, getting the right codes and all of that is certainly a challenge. So I hope you'll enjoy this series of a dozen backstage interviews that I did with the geeks. Please take a look at them as they come out over the next week. And I hope you'll join us for the next Traveling Geeks trip, which will be to, well, we don't know. But the next Traveling Geeks trip will be coming up in a few months. Thanks for joining us in Paris, and I hope you join us again soon.